Alright. Do we go?
Yeah.
Anytime can this be a bit closer?
Cannot hear it.
Oh, yeah. Just try it.
Okay.
I think I want to send the audio. The camera rolling?
Yep.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Welcome to another episode. We are joined here with... Sorry.
You forgot my name.
Ben. I'm
Yes.
just kidding, man. I remember your name. I remember everyone's name. I mean,
Cool.
sometimes I do have a tendency to forget people's name. Then I'll be like, okay, I'm here with shit. Anyway, welcome back, man. Your previous video was
Damn it, I'm
very
here again.
successful.
Yeah, this bike is actually full of problems, which is why I got it locally, because if there's any problem, right, I'm happy to throw it back and then ask them to fix the problem. But I do know that when I collected this bike, they have a fix for the head tube self-destruction.
I was just watching because I was trying to tell my wife who was coming on today, and it's like, who's coming? I was like, yeah, that guy who came in the other time, she couldn't recognize. And I showed her your video, and I realized that video is already at 10,000 views, man. 1 year ago.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and you have.
Yeah,
You're quite funny, man.
Yeah, because I paid like I paid for pump views for you. No, like, just kidding.
Wow, I probably got a lot of roast for you.
Yes.
You were speaking very highly of your previous bike, which was the SuperSix Evo High
Correct.
Mod.
Correct.
You had Adidas shoes with it's still the same, still mountain bike
Yeah,
pedals.
hey, upgraded to Adidas slippers.
Adidas slippers. You know, your friend Aaron also who came onto the show.
Yes.
He was on mountain bike pedals.
Yes.
And I saw a photo that Gary posted on
Now
his
he's
IG.
on road.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell happened, man?
Yeah.
Did he tell you the story?
Did he tell me the story? Yeah, he just wants to spend more money. That's
Oh.
the story. That's the story of Aaron. Like anything that has to do with Aaron, right? He's just like, should I change? Then you think about it. Does it involve me spending money? Yes, okay, I'll do it. No, faster.
And he's riding the Orbea, right?
You will see lah.
I think it's the Orbea, unless he has changed
You
another.
will see.
I will see.
He has
Is it a
another bike. He
Dogma,
has another bike now.
Dogma F with 105 group set?
You will see lah. You will see. I wish it was as cool as a Dogma with 105 or a Dogma with Clarice. That would be the best.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, how have you been, man? 1 year? Have you been doing a lot of cycling?
Have I been doing a lot of cycling? No, because I was employed by a slave organization last year. Things have gotten a lot better now. I am a free man,
Congratulations.
I think.
So you've
Yes.
joined a different slave company or?
Yes, I've joined a different, less slavish company. So I foresee that possibly I might ride more. I hope. That'll be good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I put a lot of hours. Okay, I did put a lot of hours into that SuperSix. I guess we'll talk about it. But I mean, okay, just for everyone, like if you guys didn't see my previous video, hi. The previous one, thanks to all the jump cuts, he made me sound like an extraterrestrial. It'll be like, and then my voice would be like jumping here. So in an effort to try to not spend too much time today, so that our dear editor doesn't have to curse and swear at his monitor,
It's okay because I think it's I've come a long way since that time at the car park, and I think everything was going crazy. So I think now just go ahead, man. Say everything that you want. It's unfiltered.
Sure, okay,
Yeah.
but I've thought about it lah, and basically today I only want to talk about 3 things. Right, so the first one would be, oh shit, I left my phone there. I actually have things to show you.
You can
Yes.
get someone
Sorry.
to.
Thank you. Oh, see? Upgraded already. Your lovely wife is assisting you.
Yeah.
So there are only 3 things that I want to talk about today. First one is how this came to be. Second one would be about our glorious motherland, China. And then the third one, we'll get to it. The third one, I think is very important. I think it's something that a lot of people can kind of learn about. And actually, right, you see, your people on your Discord are talking about it also. So
You're on my Discord?
I don't say anything.
Okay.
But I'm just watching people like hit potholes and break wheels and stuff. Cool.
Join my Discord.
Yes, it's free.
It's free
It's free.
for now. Hopefully the future.
So, okay. In my previous video, I actually told the entire story from my birth about how I got into cycling. Unfortunately, because of all the jump cuts, he edited out, I think, a good 20 or 30 minutes of content. If you want to view the full video, you can subscribe to his OnlyFans. So I will skip all of that. And I'll land up where I ended up, which is last year with my SuperSix. Great bike. still was a great bike. Since filming that video, I actually did make maybe like two changes to it. So I got these wheels, same one that I'm using currently. And second thing is I changed the BB to a BB Infinite. Wow, that made a huge difference. Straight away out of the shop, you feel the power transfer is just so much better. And then I rode that bike until the end of the year. And then a few of my friends were starting to spend more and more money. And basically, my SuperSix was a standard mod lah. Like there's a high mod and a standard mod, right? The ones that the EF team rides are high mods, and the new one there's an even higher lap 71 grade. So started looking at it, and then they were like buying S-Works. They were buying God knows what. Actually, everyone was buying S-Works lah. Sellouts. So, but then the thought crept in the back of my head, like, what's it like to own a bike that is high mod, right? And then also another thing is that the previous gen SuperSix, yeah, it's aero, but it was. I had another friend who went from the same bike SuperSix to a SL7, and then he was like, "Wow, dude, the SL7 is so much faster. It just feels straight away from the first pedal stroke down. You just feel the difference." And I was just like, That's the money coming out of your mouth, man. But like, no lah, people curious lah, right? So after a while, I was like, okay, maybe I find that like I'm not my bike's not collecting dust, so that's maybe it's a good idea to spend a bit more money, because I think my friend group, the problem is that once we get into a hobby, we go all the way, which is painful. It's not just cycling; it's a lot of other stuff. So, but yeah, it's very painful. So I was like, okay, what do I get? Nothing really appealed to me, right? And then last year, I think it was at the Dauphiné Criterium, posted first few photos of the new Trek Madone, and I was like,
the one with the asshole.
and I was like, that looks weird, but I like it. And then I saw this photo online, and it pretty much, okay, give me a moment. Let me show this to you. This was the photo that I saw that. I'm sorry, I can't show it to you guys. I think he'll get demonetized on YouTube. But yeah, I saw that photo.
Can you post that on Discord? Or maybe send it to me.
Sure.
I'll post it on Discord. If you want to remain anonymous, I'll do it.
Sure.
So join my Discord.
Yes.
But by the time people watch this episode, it was probably like 6 months ago.
Sure. But I saw that photo and I was like, that's the bike for me, baby. and then they were like, oh, here it comes, right? It took like 1 month to announce it. And then they announced the price and I was just like, I need to do that actually to afford it. So that's the problem. I wish you guys could see it. Join his Discord.
Maybe I'll put a link on the video. People can just click on it.
Yeah, join his Discord. So and then I asked Technology, right, like, oh, can I buy a frame? Because I think it's, okay, one thing, right, this group set is from the old bike also. So I was just thinking, it's kind of a waste, right, to just like dump the old group set. I mean, it works, right? I don't need an extra 1 speed. I feel it's kind of okay, never mind, we'll get there. So I was like, can I get a frame only? And then they're like giving me the standard answer like, oh, we're not sure when Waterloo will give us more stock. You might have to wait 20 years. Get your name on the waiting list and you can be first. Or you want to buy a complete bike, bro? And I was like, okay, how much a complete bike? And then they're like, so what groups are you want? Dura Ace, or Dura Ace? Then I was like, no lah, give me Ultegra, I'm good enough. It's good enough. Then they were like, yeah, it's $13,750. And I was like,
it's okay, you can afford it. So 13,000.
It was almost 14K. And they couldn't tell me when it was coming.
When was this again?
This was like third quarter of last year.
Okay.
You know, when they announced the bike and everyone was like, oh, look at that hole. I can put bottles in there and shit. And like, yeah, so I just asked them and I was like, wow, this is ridiculous. I love it, but it's ridiculous. And then, you know when you're on Carousell, right, and you've spent enough time looking at things you shouldn't be buying, then they start suggesting, like they automatically start suggesting you stuff, right, that they think you like. So one day this popped up. And I saw the price and I was like, okay, yeah, fuck them, dude. Honestly, I paid 3.5K for this frame.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like...
And it was already painted like that?
No, of course not. So I was like, okay, then my buy first, solve problems later. So I went to view the frame. I guess there were a few reasons why it was 3.5K, but I looked at it. I was like, it's in one piece. I'm not gonna get speared up the ass anytime soon on the road with this. So yeah, I took it and I was like, damn. Then it just sat in my house for like 2 months.
The frame only.
Yes, for a few reasons. First of all, I wanted to sell the SuperSix, and secondly, the previous. So I'm apparently the third owner of this bike. The first owner was, I don't really know, but second owner was a guy who does his own mechanic stuff, which is great. I think everybody should know how to do, at the very least, right, do basic maintenance. Right? Don't always bring it to a shop. Sorry, Shane. Don't always bring it to a shop to do stuff. Be able to fix basic problems on your own. I say this, and I don't know how to change tire, but
You don't know how to change your tire?
okay, I've had extreme luck with tubeless tires. My tubeless tires always, like my previous set of tubeless tires lasted 1 year, no punctures, no nothing. I didn't have to take it off the bike. So lucky lah, right? And okay, now where was I? So it sat around. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for it to sell. Then the previous owner was a guy who does his own mechanic work. I can tell that he's not very careful because on the other side of the frame, that on the stock factor, there's like this ceramic speed sticker that is around the BB. Yeah, it was completely scratched off. So he had gone because he was careless with the T47 BB2. He had scratched off the lacquer on the paint, and then he had scratched off the logos also. And I was like,
He told you about this or what? Or
no,
you found
no,
out?
he didn't. I just flipped the frame and I was like, I didn't see when I was like dealing with him. Then I was like, I brought it home. Then I was like scrutinizing it. Then I was like, wow, this is a bit 夸张. I think ceramic bearings are a scam, but this is a bit much. So I scrutinized the rest of the frame. There are like pin chips on the fork, pin chips on the down tube, but they are pin chips lah, right? It's just an aesthetic thing. But I had this dilemma like, okay, what do I do now? Do I just build the bike? Or, yeah, what do I do? And then in the meantime, the SuperSix was taking some time to sell because nowadays, right, you can't sell bikes anymore unless you throw price lah, which that's what's happening now. And then you pay someone to take your bike from you. I guess that always works. But yeah, I was just waiting for it to sell, and I was like, since I'm waiting, I'm like, okay, I'll fix the only problem that I have with this bike, which is it was beat up. All right, so I sent it to Paint Extreme. They did it in this color. I know you think it looks like shit, but I mean, to be very honest, right, it didn't come out the way I expected it also. So this color is called, I can't remember, but it has the word black in it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I look at it, I'm like, black? Where black? But I mean, I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks now. So happy. I'm happy with it. Managed to fix, I guess you could say, what was the flaw of the bike when I got it. And I still spent $3,000 less than buying it new.
Can I just pause you there for a
Yes.
bit? When you decided to buy this while you're browsing on Carousell, it was listed at 3.5K.
I was listed at 3.7 something.
Okay.
I talked him down because the previous guy, right, I think he wanted to sell, initially he wanted to sell it with, it was a bit weird. He was selling, it came with a seat post, right? And like a bar and stem. And he wanted to sell it with SRAM rate, like levers and calipers only. Then I'm like, what? Even if you use SRAM, right? I pity those guys. But even if you use SRAM, right? Why would you want to buy a bike that has like the levers and the calipers and nothing else? If you were already going to put a group set on it, right, you would have those components. So I guess that's why he couldn't move lah. So I guess he sold them separately. Eventually became a bare frame. And because I like group sets that work, that worked for me lah. I managed to put the old group set. So I think one thing is that I feel like, especially here in SG, a lot of people like to buy the latest and greatest, which is, it's nice. It's always nice. No denying that, but try to keep things out of landfills, right? You don't have to consume so much.
But,
these group sets too.
But how much is a new Ostro VAM frame set?
7K?
So
Plus?
for it to be sold at half the price, wasn't it triggering anything like, oh, how come it's only 3.5K?
Yeah, of course. So when I went to see it, you do the basic tap test, right?
Like
Make
buying
sure-
fruits.
Yeah, like what all the aunties do lah. right? You do the tap test to make sure that there's no cracks in the frame or there's nothing strange. And I mean, okay lah, it looked very beat up lah. I assume that all the previous like potential buyers like scrutinize it and then they see paint chip here, paint chip there, scratched off paint or BB, all this kind of stuff, and then they're just like, wow, okay, don't want lah, right? Okay lah, this is my fault lah, I didn't notice lah. But it's still cheap enough that I could repaint it, and right now it looks new. It feels like a new bike. Okay, the only difference is that maybe there's a bit of rust at the bottle cage bosses and stuff like that. But when it was repainted, it was sanded down anyway, and so it's shiny now. So no difference. It feels like a new frame. And you can't get this color from Factor, I think. I know they have this Prisma Studio thing where you can customize the colors if you buy a new Factor, but I don't think they have any ironically prismatic colors, right? You're just picking normal colors and what normal colors you want. Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the price, would have gotten...
Sorry.
If it wasn't for this being so cheap, would you have gotten this bike or would you have still stuck to the SuperSix?
Or you mean if I had to pay 7K for this frame? No, of course not. I mean, I don't know, my mentality is a bit different. It's like, why pay more when you can pay less? Right?
I guess costs, I don't know, support local bike shops.
Yeah, I will support the local bike shops by coming back to them and giving them a few things to do on the bike. Right? Because the margin on service is pretty much infinite. The margin on bikes is dictated by the name on the down tube. Right? So how much do you think CycleWorks earns from every Dogma F they sell? Right.
Good
so
enough for people, for them to be affording, nice things in life.
You mean CycleWorks or the people that are buying the bikes?
Both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, I mean it's good, right? It's good business, right? But I still think this is a local frame. It came from RS Cycles. RS Cycles is the local distro. Still have the serial number here at the bottom, actually. Not that I don't think they'll warranty given that it's been repainted and shit and it's like third hand. But yes, so someone already supported the local bike shops before I got it. And the fact of the matter is, right, if I didn't buy this, right, I'll be sitting in a guy's storeroom or it'll be in a landfill. I think this is a better fit.
So everything on this bike is from the previous bike except the wheel sets?
No, it was a frame. I bought it as a frame.
As in all the components here, right, that we see right now? Is it from the SuperSix Evo?
Okay, so the drivetrain is from my SuperSix. I got the SuperSix when 12 speed was just coming out, but I decided to go for 11 speed. There are a few reasons. I'll touch on that maybe later. The wheels I brought, actually pretty much everything is like, only the frame is what I got from that guy. Everything else is stuff that I picked. And ended up being a half China build, which is interesting. I'll talk a bit more about that later. Yeah.
Let's just go into the bike, man.
Sure. So this one's a 2021 model. I don't know if y'all know. The Ostro VAM has a few revisions. The frame has stayed the same. The difference is the fork. On the inside, they've redone it like 4 times. I read the forums. They have like 4 different variations of stereo tube.
But aesthetically, it looks the same from the outside.
Like from the outside, it looks the same. It's just how you build it and everything. So, and it has an 11-speed Ultegra Di2 group set. So when I was like about to build the bike, right, I was having this battle with my internal demons. Should I buy Dura Ace? Should I buy Dura Ace? Should I buy Dura Ace? Because there were a few people that were selling 11-speed Dura Ace Di2 for steel. Let's be honest, it was a very good price on Carousell at the time. And I was just like, should I? And I chatted with one of them and I told him like, I'm still thinking about it. Right? And then he was like, oh, what bike are you going to put it on? And I told him it's an Ostro VAM. Bro, this one is top-end bike. No one put Ultegra one, bro. Just buy, man. Dura Ace, it has to be Dura Ace. Otherwise, you cannot ride the bike. Malus, yeah. I mean, he said something along those lines, and I was just like, wow, this is damn Singaporean, man. That's just how it is. But unfortunately, the rational part of my brain won. So I brought over the old group set from my SuperSix onto this bike, and well, it works.
By the way, that was a sales pitch earlier.
Which one?
The Dura Ace, the guy trying to sell you
Yeah,
the Dura Ace.
yeah. I mean, it's not like he had any problem selling it, right? He sold it like a week later to some other guy who was probably very happy to pay that amount. 2K for Dura Ace group set. Dura Ace Di2 group set.
11 speed.
Yeah. Yeah. But, people are like, I must have 12 speed, so that's why it has to go for so cheap lah. But personally, of course, I have friends who have the 12-speed group set. Yeah, it's better a bit.
Yeah.
Are you going to notice? I think not really. People just like having nice things, which again, no problem, right? Buy whatever you want, as long as you're not taking out loans to do so. But I kept this out of a landfill,
Yeah.
right? And it still works, right? Like, and another thing is that because 11 speed has one less sprocket at the back, and the chains are, I guess, a bit thinner. No, sorry, they're a bit thicker, right? And everything. Somehow, I went to read up. 11 speed group sets are lighter than their 12 speed equivalents. Not by much, but it's like, I pay more than the bike heavier. Then I get one extra gear at the back, which, I will use. But do you really notice the difference? You could put a pro on an 11 speed bike, and he will smoke every single one of us with every single person with 12 speed, like just riding.
But everybody wants the latest and greatest.
Yeah, that's true lah. I don't want to pay for the latest and greatest.
How much are the new 12 speeds going for?
You see, now they're being discounted because nobody's buying them already. Now everybody who wants it already bought it, and now the bike shops are like, shit, what do we do now?
By the way, speaking of this, right, when I've speak to bike shop owners here in Singapore, they did tell me that it's slowing down drastically since COVID days are gone, right? Like even trying to sell bikes is really tough. So yeah, just wait for those discounts.
I mean, I feel for them lah, right? But the truth is, in any business, you can't be in boomtown forever. That's not how it works. Things are cyclical, ironically. But yeah, everyone who wants to buy a bike has bought one, and then those people that are COVID. I mean, I'm a COVID suckers also, but I still do enough that I maintain a bike. I do know people that have completely dropped off, which is fine, right? This is a hobby. No one should be pointing a gun in your face and like telling you to do or do not do all these things, right? So, coming back to the bike. So the only deviations from Ultegra is that I put a Dura-Ace cage on it.
Why?
A friend had a spare, and then he was like, "You want it?" I was like, "Yeah."
This is a new 12 speed Dura-Ace?
No, it's an 11-speed Dura-Ace cage.
Okay, but it makes no difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all these people buying OSPW, right? It makes a difference. It worsens the shifting.
Wait, have you owned the OSPW?
No. But it's plain physics. You have more mass here. The derailleur is moving the cage to shift the gears. When there's more leverage and there's more weight here, right? The motor, like for DI2, the motor has to work harder to throw it sprocket up, sprocket down, right? Which, look, if you buy OSPW because it's bling, power to you. If you buy it because you think it gives you an advantage, right? I have a rock to sell you on the moon. Please reach out to me. Thank you.
How much are you selling it for?
Sorry?
How much are you selling it for?
Please,
will it
please.
give me some kind of aero advantage?
Yeah, the moon has no air, so your CDA will be 0. So, anyway, moving on from that, these wheels are light bicycle. Again, I refuse to pay exorbitant sums for Zip or PCW, the hot brands, because why should a wheel cost $6,000 when this costs $2,000? This is like very, very expensive for China wheels.
You burned this bike as the Xi Jinping
The
bike.
Xi Jinping edition, yes. Glory to the motherland. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, so light bicycle, $2,000, you got it online?
Yes, okay, I'll talk a bit more about this. Actually, my plan, right, was to not talk so much about the bike because I know that there'll be a lot of questions later and I can just talk about it then.
Okay.
So maybe I'll just run through everything else.
Yeah.
Again, China integrated handlebars, I'll talk about that later. There are some dirty imperialist components here. The saddle is a Sella Italia SLR boost, but it's the 3D print version because the one area I'm willing to spend on is where my ass goes. Right, I think it's important. There's a Darimo SeatPost. It's a gift from my lovely girlfriend who's sitting there.
How does she know what to buy?
I tell her what I want.
Oh, nice. So you give her like a wish list.
Our relationship works this way. I tell her what I want. She tells me what she wants. I bought her a very expensive sewing machine in exchange for this.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Is it as expensive as the saddle, the SeatPost?
Yeah, it's more expensive.
A sewing machine? Does it do miracles?
Here's the thing, right? For everything that you can think of, there are expensive versions of like
True.
everything. There are high-end versions of everything. So we tell people this bike costs X number of dollars. They're like, what? It's a bicycle. And then you just ask them what are your hobbies, and then they'll tell you, right? And then you're like, do you have this? And you're like, yeah. So it's the same. Doesn't matter. Let's see what else. It's titanium bolts everywhere. Okay, it's not for weight saving, although yes, saves a bit of weight. But I want the confidence that I can get this wet and nothing will corrode. Right? Yeah. Chinese carbon cranks. I'll talk about them a bit more. 4个1包 meter and a China cassette. This is really interesting. I'll talk about this later. There's Galfer rotors. These are from Spain. Because we don't live anywhere where there's hills, brake fit is not so much of a problem. Therefore, you can go for a lighter option. And yeah, I think that's about it.
What's the price and the weight?
What's the price? I told you I paid 3.5 for the frame. I bought everything, everything came in, one by one. I didn't buy everything at one go. So this is just an amalgamation of last 2 years. So I couldn't tell you what the...
If you were to put a price on it, if you were going to sell it tomorrow.
Okay, how much I paid for everything, right?
9K.
I guess.
For a...
Or 10. Something.
Wow, that's quite expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm a sucker, I guess. But, I will not have anything else. If you give me a Madone today, right, I'll think about it. I'll think about it twice. I'll probably stay with this.
And what's the weight?
What's the weight? Around 7.
7?
I think. Yeah, so the reason why I went with a lot of China parts is that I want to see how light I could get this. Yes, and I think it's about 7. I weighed it a couple of days ago, right here actually.
Yeah.
So, yes. And
tell us about performance. Compare it against your high mod.
It wasn't a high mod, it was a regular mod.
Sorry,
SuperSix.
yeah.
So, one thing that SuperSix is very well known for is comfort. I will concede, yeah, SuperSix is more comfortable. It's not a huge difference, but it's definitely less. This is less compliant. It's a bit stiffer, but I mean, look at it. It's chonky ass tubes everywhere. It's not a surprise, really. And this is just way faster. The SuperSix was designed to be somewhat aero, like those in between. This is also supposed to be an in between, lightweight aero bike, but the tubes are way thicker. It's a lot chunkier everywhere, and interestingly, the bond bracket area is also a lot stiffer. So there's this huge shelf of carbon fiber that sits above the crank. I think a lot of aero bikes are like this now. So when you push down on the pedals, it responds way snappier than the SuperSix, even with the BB Infinite bond bracket, which huge difference. That one's not snake oil, but you can just buy the steel bearing one because ceramic bearings are a scam.
Agreed.
So yes, very, very stiff, and it's comfortable enough. One huge thing is that these new tires that I've got on are so comfortable. It's crazy. I'll talk about them more later, but overall package is light, it's fast, it makes up for my physical deficiencies, right? Even though I've lost a bit of weight since I got the SuperSix, and I hope to continue that on this. So I took this out yesterday for a short ride. Yeah, I'm super happy with this. Don't think these are famous last words, but don't think I'll be. Okay, wait. I will be getting another bike soon, by the way, for indoor training. So
what bike is that?
Sorry?
What bike is that?
I'm just getting some cheap powders, man. $800. Yeah, it's for indoor training. It doesn't matter.
Why must you do indoor training? Just go out and ride.
Okay, so there was a brief period, right, where I borrowed an indoor trainer. I put this bike on the indoor trainer, and every time I rode in Zwift, and you put down power, you're like, this bike doesn't deserve to be stuck here, not moving, and hearing myself grunt very suggestively while doing ramp tests and shit. So yeah, it's just for the convenience of, look, if you want to do indoor training, right, make it as painless as possible. Make it such that you can jump on and jump off. For this, right, you have to take off the rear wheel, you have to install the true axle adapters, then you have to, Okay, the trainer that I was using was that Elite Toaster, the 2 or whatever, the one that looks like a toaster. So putting a disc brake bike on that is quite challenging. Got to remove the true axle, then you got to put in a rim brake QR with certain adapters, then you need to go there, lock it in place with the correct tension and all that kind of stuff. It's not the easiest thing, lah. So, and here's the interesting thing, right? I only rode Zwift 2 days because I was free trial, just try, right? the trainers with me, just try it. I rode those 2 days, right? And I went on the road and I felt significantly faster. And I was like, is this really how much difference it can make? So yeah, just going to try it. I mean, if it doesn't work out, I'll just sell that bike for cheaper. Yeah.
I think you have ran through everything. I have pretty much nothing to ask, but on to the IG questions, which you say you will elaborate a little bit more.
Okay. Before that, I'll quickly talk about the other things that I want to talk about. So first of all, no, China components are not shit. You just need to know where to look, right? But there is a lot of shit coming out from China. Let me get that clear. There's a lot of garbage that you can buy from Chinese brands. And it's very hard to tell, right? Like what's good, what's bad. What I kind of realized is that if you actually frequent Chinese social media, which I use through copious amounts of Google Translate because I'm CLB, there are a lot of people in China that are engineering focused, but they actually do a lot of passion projects for bikes. And that's where a lot of these funny Chinese components, which probably you all have never heard of, come from. So for example, the cranks, an interesting story about these guys. This is a carbon crank, and they have an even higher end version, right, where the whole thing is, like the THM clavicula, which is like carbon axle and stuff. They have a Chinese version of that. And just to prove to people that, like, look, our product actually is of a decent quality, you can buy it and not fear that you will never have children or whatever. When you ride it, they actually bought a THM, like a retail THM sample, and then they put it on their machine, the one that bends the cranks to test its longevity, right? And then they live streamed it on Chinese social media. The THM has already snapped. Theirs is still in one piece. And they are proudly boasting that, I mean, obviously now they are proudly boasting that, look, ours is still in one piece, and the superior Germans have built an inferior product. So, yeah. When it comes to Chinese stuff, right, if you're willing to dig, you'll find very interesting things. This cassette is 50 grams lighter than the Dura-Ace and shifts just as well. And it's more durable than the Dura-Ace cassette. The handlebars are very interesting because they built this as a normal all-in-one kind of handlebar, but they have spaces for basically every bike that you can imagine out there. So when I ordered it, they asked me, what do I ride? I told them Ostro VAM, and then they gave me the specific spaces for it. But whatever you ride, they have a integration kit for it. So that's quite cool. What other China stuff? OSPW is a scam. So I just bought these jockey wheels, dude. They're $10. They have real bearings in them. That's the reason, right? It's because if the bearings wear out, you can just change them.
Is it sealed?
I think they are like contact seals, so not the heaviest seals, but the fact that you can change the bearings out quickly is kind of why I got them, because you can service them. I'm looking at things from a perspective of, look, I want things to last, right? I don't want to buy stuff that you use and then you have to replace or throw away, which brings me nicely to my third point. Please wax your chains. I think this is like something that a lot of people are talking about, and everybody uses UFO drip. That's like baby wax, dude. Don't like just buy the damn crock pot. It cost me $10. And a motor speed wax costs like $50. Right? And with that, right? Okay, look. I rode the bike yesterday, right? You need clickbait, right? This better become a YouTube short, okay? Like, I spend so little time. Okay, in fact, I don't clean my drivetrain at all. So a lot of people think that immersive wax is a headache because you have to strip the chains, you have to dip them, you have to tear them out every 300 km. But here's the thing, I don't have to clean my drivetrain. Look at it. I haven't cleaned it since I installed this drivetrain on the bike. And there's nothing. I mean, you can see lah. There's nothing on it. So the amount of time that you save not cleaning your drivetrain, right? Then you take that away from occasionally maintaining the chain. You come out on top. And more importantly, your components last way longer, right? You can see there's still this the black anodization is still partially on the chainring after 3,000, 4,000 km. Yeah. And it deposits nothing. So you can touch the chain everywhere. You only get the wax.
And how long does it last? 300 kilometers?
300 km if you're conservative. If you want to push it 400 or 500. I mean, of course, like, it depends on wax you use. Silka says theirs last a bit longer, but I have two chains. So one is always on the bike, and then the other one is just sitting there. Then when this one is about to reach 300, right, I just pop the second one. Okay, and it's so easy to clean. You don't need degreasers. Just pour boiling water. Everything comes out. Then just dip into the wax again. Let it cool. And then you're ready. Like then when you have to swap, right, you just take this one off and put that second one on. Then this one just sits in the corner until the next one is about to reach 300. So, yep. Don't fool yourself. Yes, it gives you watts, right? But that's not the reason why you're doing this. You're doing this because it's extending the lifespan of your components. It is reducing the amount of time you need to maintain your drivetrain. And yeah, it's just good for the bike. So, yes.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will now take questions.
I'm running short of time. Still got to keep this a little bit shorter. The first question is, what's with the pedal?
What's with the pedals? I don't want to walk on plastic cleats. Yeah, simple as that.
And what shoes are you wearing now? Are you still wearing those Adidas shoes?
Okay, so I had to face my demons and buy like an incredibly ugly shoe. I'm wearing legs. So you can see them in the corner there. Yeah. Like I'm wearing Adidas.
At least
now,
you've moved on from...
I mean, I still rep Adidas lah, right? No, but yeah. Those are way stiffer than Adidas shoes. They're basically road shoes with two hole cleats at the bottom. So
I'll see you with road shoes next.
no, you are not.
That's what Aaron said.
Unless you pay me $2,000, then okay, maybe I'll think about it.
So why are you not on road shoes? Is it because you just don't want to walk on
Yeah, I
plastic?
just don't want to walk on plastic cleats. It's like
I think I asked you this in the last interview. Are you doing more walking than you're actually cycling?
no, you don't, right? But you will have to walk, right? Like,
right. But
no
where
matter-
you walking to that you need mountain bike shoes
No,
specifically?
okay, I don't need mountain bike shoes. Similarly, I don't need road bike shoes. You could put flats on these. You can still ride the bike, right?
You can, but you're not as efficient.
I mean, there are videos that will claim that you're wrong, but everybody has their own preference, right? I just don't want to walk on plastic cleats. I think it's one of those irrational dislikes that people have. You know how some people can't stand the sound of styrofoam rubbing together? That's basically me with plastic cleats. So thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, and also, right, like I've taken a look at all the different road systems. Obviously, the most common one is the Shimano one, SPDSL. Unfortunately, that's a gigantic plastic cleat at the bottom. There is Speed Play, which is a bit more walkable, yes, and it's also two-sided. Not that but I think two-sided entry is not a gimmick, but it's definitely useful, right? But it's not I must have for it to work. But I've read a lot of problems about Speed Play. The retention clip wears out very quickly. Then you get side-to-side rocking, and it's not stable, and the contact area is smaller than mountain pedals. So is it really worth the trouble? I don't know. Yeah.
Next question is, what's the downside of your bike?
The cranks are okay. The one thing that China hasn't learned yet is how to design nice products, because this looks like it was designed by an angsty 14-year-old kid.
Sorry, run us through the crank arms again.
These are LLE XXE carbon.
What the what kind of name is that?
Yeah. See, China, right? So they're ugly. They have a very hard to pronounce. I mean, it's Chinese, right? I can't speak Chinese to save my life. So, yeah, these are carbon cranks. The good thing is that, I can get a power meter of them. You can still put Shimano chain rings on them because, all the other options like carbon TI chain rings, they don't shift as well. And your chain ring shouldn't be carbon because carbon chips. What if your chain just catches on something, right? It can completely break off a tooth, which is a bit strange. So you want your chain rings to be in one piece. So anyway, I stuck to the original Shimano chain rings. These are very stiff.
It's very short.
Yes, they are 160s on the advice of our dear friend over there.
So, so you came, I met you again here at Weekend Bike Fitter. Tell us, you came for another bike fit because of this bike?
Yeah, so I was thinking if I got a nice bike, probably get properly fitted. And also this is 18 mm lower than the SuperSix. So that was a pretty big difference. I bought it thinking that I could adapt to it. Thankfully, I can just about adapt to it. So just to redo all the numbers, and he was like, oh, with 165, they're still a bit too long. You're still rocking your pelvis about, so get shorter cranks. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll get this lah.
Did he advise you of a specific brand that you should get, or he just told you just go get 160 on your own?
Get 160. Then I already had these in mind anyway. Even if I was stuck at 165, I would have changed to these. So they are stiffer. They are slightly stiffer than the Shimano options. You put down the power, it feels like your waist. There's less torsion. There's less bending. So yeah, one thing about this bike, right, is that it's so okay. I'm using a Hello Hambini hello Hambini fans, bottom bracket, which is great because previously I was using a Shimano like crank, right? And you can change from 24 to 30 just by changing the plastic sleeves. You don't have to just buy a new whole new BB just because you change crank standards. So the whole thing is so stiff, right? Like it's supposed to be an aero bike, it's supposed to be like sluggish, but it actually feels even faster than SuperSix. Like this thing just flies when you put down the power. So that's something I really like about it.
Next question then, is this a Seika copy?
The interesting thing is that Factors Factory actually makes Seika Exceed. This is what I've read on forums from wherever.
How legit is that?
I wouldn't be surprised. Apparently Factor owns all their own factories, but you would be foolish not to sublet your production capability to someone else who's willing to pay. Right? And the Seika is a very nice bike. I say that because it looks almost like the same. Would I have bought a Seika? Well, it would have saved me $200 compared to this frame. So the answer is no.
Next question from this user. He has a lot of questions. Three questions. Let's see if you can answer it all at one go.
Sure.
First one is, how are the wheels? Second, long-term thoughts about the saddle. Do you want to change to something else? And how's it on long rides? So wheels and saddle.
Okay, I'll start with the wheels. So the thing I like about these guys is that you can actually customize everything about it. You can choose the rim depth, you can choose what hubs you're using, you can choose what spokes you're using. So they have a whole plethora of options. I actually emailed them and said, hey, do you guys have any carbon spoke options? Because this was last year when Windspace hypers were becoming a thing. And I was like, do you guys have anything similar, right? So they're like, yeah, we're prototyping these carbon spokes which are replaceable. Sorry to all the lightweight users out there. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. So these are 55 deeps, but they weigh 1,300 grams for the complete wheel set, which is like climbing wheel set level. And they are stiffer than my own Windspace wheels, like when you put on a power, but they're quite comfortable. I quite like them. They have not given me a single issue since I got them. And I think that they're great value lah. Like, you get all the headline performance specs that every other big brand is asking twice the amount for. So I really rate the wheels. Just because you can choose everything you want. Maybe for some people, they just want to buy something. But if you really, really want to like dig deep on and like pick everything that you want, these are perfect. Second thing is the saddle. It's not that old. I only just got this saddle. I was using your favorite saddle previously, the Power Mirror.
Yeah.
I started to realize after a while it was giving me problems.
Oh. What happened?
So I watched a lot of this guy called Bike Fit James on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen him, right, and you're not willing to pay for Bike Fit, please watch his videos. This guy is a hate boner for the specialized power. And I realized that actually what he says makes sense. It's right. It's too wide. For most men, the wings clip the edge of your thighs, which is what happened to mine also. If you looked at my old Power Mirror before I sold it, right, these 3D printed saddles actually start off with a satin like finish, right? But as you wear them, they become shiny. So you could see that the very edges of my Power Mirror were shiny, even though you're not supposed to be like interfacing or touching that part, right? But it was just catching my legs as I was pedaling, and it was noticeable and it was slightly uncomfortable. So I was like, okay, I really like the 3D print tag. I'll just go for a different 3D print saddle. And that very same guy is also a stan of the Selle Italia SLR Boost. So when they came out with a 3D version, I was like, okay, I'll try it. This is very narrow, it's like 130 But because it's so narrow, it actually avoids that same clipping issue that the Power Mirror has.
Is this a long or short nose?
It's a short nose saddle.
Okay.
Yeah, so far I've been very happy with it. As for long rides, I haven't really done very, very long rides on this, but I just changed the tires to these Challenge Criterium RS. Oh my god, this is the biggest upgrade I've made to the bike. Because these are cotton sidewalls, so they're kind of like special turbo cottons, right? You can pump them up to very high PSI, right? And you can roll over very shitty roads, and it soaks up everything. It's insane. These tires, right, feel like you've added a suspension to the bike.
How wide are these?
Sorry?
How wide are the tires?
25.
Okay.
So they're not like fat. They're not super fat, right? And just the fact that they're cotton, they soak up everything. You can pump them up to extreme high PSI. I ride them at 80 PSI.
That's not high.
For tubeless is high.
For tubeless, yes.
For tubeless is high. It's enough to blow tires off hookless rims. So I rode them over shitty roads, right? Wow, it feels like you're gliding over them. That combined with the saddle, right? I have not ridden anything more comfortable. Okay, except my SuperSix lah. Yeah.
Why didn't you buy a Specialized?
Why did
I think the question came because I've been recently featuring a lot of Specialized bikes.
Have you? Oh, you've been featuring a lot of Vengers. I know
No,
you're-
Venge, SL7s.
Yeah, but everyone has SL7 or Venge, including yours truly.
Hey, Venge?
See the defense comes already. Triggered.
No, I bought the Venge, I think before the SL7 came out. Or maybe like the pictures of SL7 came out. But and I wasn't too fond of the SL7.
Yeah, but you keep shitting on SL7, so like, you will never buy one. What? Come on.
I'll never buy one.
Even if you didn't buy the Venge, right, if I give you an SL7, would you take it?
No. If you give it to me for free?
You see, you even hesitate. You give it to me for free.
No. If it's for free, I'll take anything, man.
Oh, really?
Anything.
Oh, really?
You
Okay,
would take it.
I'll hold you to that.
You would take it.
Yeah, I can't deny I'm a sucker. So, why didn't I buy a Specialized? Have you seen how much they cost? Even on the second-hand market, right? You can buy SL7 now for like 10K at the lowest, right? I think that's what one of my friends sold his SL7 for after he lost his job. RIP.
Is that the friend that I know?
Yeah, you know him.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't I want Specialized? I don't know lah. You know, it's like asking someone, why didn't you buy a Toyota? Does it speak to you? If it doesn't, then why would you buy one? Right? I look at the SL7, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. No, don't want. Then I look at the Venge, I'm like, it's like a fat SL7. It's basically what it is. Venge is a fat SL7. So I'm like,
So you don't like the look of the Venge?
I think it looks alright. Just not drawn to it somehow. I'm more drawn to interest. Okay, so for example, the Madone. I'm more drawn to the Madone than anything Specialized makes. I'm more drawn to what other bikes are out there. I'm more drawn to the Scott Foil, the new one, the new Scott Foil, than I am to any Specialized. Plus, the SL7 and the Venge are getting old. There's going to be something new coming,
It is coming.
which I will not buy. But if you were going to buy Specialized, what would you buy now? Is my point.
Okay. Your bike costed 200 Chinese kids since it's a Xi Jinping edition.
Please direct all inquiries to the State Ministry of Communications, and they will get back to you on your allegations. Okay lah, no lah, not the entire bike is China lah, but you know, what I'm trying to show here is that you don't always have to buy from the Westerners. They're not always the ones making the best products. That is something that I think a lot of people cannot accept. It is very sad. I've seen on cycling forums, right, very thinly veiled racism against Chinese products. It's just really weird. Like, there was one guy who posted, don't buy any Chinese parts because the money goes to China and they're buying all your property. And then I'm like, dude, this is a cassette. Come on, man. Yeah.
Next one. Oh, this is a funny one. Factor Ostro VAM Xi Jinping edition equals Sika Exceed Normal edition.
Yeah, pretty much. They come from the same factory. In fact, the funny thing is that I've seen a lot of Sika Exceeds, right, which are lighter than this. In bigger sizes. I'm not a very big guy. This is a pretty small bike. There are Sika Exceeds in medium, large. They are being built to 7 kilos. So yeah, I mean, sure, man. Hey, there's nothing wrong with the Sika. I think it's a great bike. In fact, right, the Sika is better for some people because the Ostro is a race geometry is very low. In fact, I was stunned by how aggressive it was when I first got on it. But the Exceed is actually a more endurance-based geometry. It has a taller stack. It's better for most people, actually. And even if you can ride this, right, you can see I have spacers on it. Whereas if I rode the equivalent Exceed, I would be slammed or almost slammed, if that matters to you lah. Yeah.
Last two questions. How is I don't know, am I going to pronounce this correctly? Is it EXS? Or is
The EXS handlebars.
Yeah, how are those bars?
They feel great, man. So the reason I got them is because, first of all, being a smaller guy, I need smaller handlebars also. They make them down to 36 cm. I got the 38s lah. But they have a very wide range of sizes. You can get very narrow bars with very long stems, which a lot of brands don't do, right? And a lot of the Westerners are like, yes, that's what I want, right? I want like super aero and super long. So that's great. It's very stiff. And I really like the way they designed the computer mount / light mount. And because, again, it's from China, right? I asked another China guy to custom build me a standalone light-only adapter for it. And you can see it's integrated very well. It's very light. No pun intended. And yeah, the handlebars are stiff. They are arrow. They have the very nice. They are like the specialized bars, right? Where there's a small notch where the bar tape is supposed to end. So you get a nice transition between the bar tape and the bar, like the rest of the bar. And like I said previously, they have integration for all the big bikes out there. You can write, you can have a dogma. They have dogma specific ones. You can write Scott. They have Scott specific spaces. So very good option for anyone with integrated bikes, which is basically almost everybody nowadays. So very happy with this. The only problem is the availability. You have to buy from Taobao. And that's not an option that's open to everyone.
And how long does it take for them to ship it over?
It took a week.
Not too long.
Yeah, that's not too long. Shopping from China here in Singapore is actually very, very fast and very, very convenient. And because most of us can speak Chinese, you can actually talk to the shop owners. And they're very, 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 very helpful also. And they always have the coolest stuff. They started selling recently a one-piece 12-speed cassette that, again, is also 40 grams lighter than Dura Ace. Very, very interesting. And it costs half the price of the Dura Ace.
It's funny how a lot of people don't consider buying things from China where you can get things which are lighter, cheaper. But I guess it comes down to the question of durability.
Laces.
Not only laces, but durability, right? There's always a question like how long will it last?
Yes, so that's right. And like I said, right, durability is a very big concern of mine. So the reason I got this cassette, which is from a brand, oh my God, what's it called? RC Race.
By the way, how do you even start searching for all these parts?
Okay, funnily enough, right, y'all know the Wait Weenies forum. There's this guy on there, right, who's on China who keeps posting all these Chinese stuff.
So he probably works for them.
No, he posts like all different brands one. Then he posts all this stuff, right? All the Westerners are like, how to buy? And then they're like, be Chinese. But since I have Taobao, right, I can actually buy them. So yeah, I read about this cassette. The difference is that, Dura Ace is half titanium and half steel, the bottom. This is full steel, but it's lighter than the Dura Ace titanium plus steel. And this guy also makes a 100% titanium option, which is 100 grams lighter than Dura Ace. And unfortunately, it costs $800 for one.
But there are no issues with shifting whatsoever, right?
That's my second concern. There is this China brand called S-Root that makes very light cassettes. They shift like shit.
And you know about this through forums?
Yes, go watch Trace Velo, go watch all the YouTube guys that buy all this cheap China stuff and then put it on video and then we inevitably laugh because it's garbage and then they're like, China sucks. But for this one, right, okay, the guy who designed this, designed everything in-house and then he CNC'd it himself. And his claim, right, on the sale post was, shifts as good as the original Shimano one. I had to take his word for it. So when I got it, right, I was a bit nervous. I don't know whether it will work well. I put it on, right, I put the wheel, I didn't adjust anything. I put the wheel back on and it shifts just like the Shimano. There's no skipping, there's no loud noise, it just shifts perfectly.
How much is it again?
This one, costs about the same as the Dura Ace. But the difference is that this is steel, so it will last longer than the Dura Ace cassette.
Is there a warranty on it?
I mean, if you can speak Chinese, then there's warranty.
If you can't?
If you can't speak Chinese, use Google Translate. Oh, we live in 2077 or whatever. So there is no excuse. In fact, right, the interesting thing is that these China guys, right, they're trying to expand to an international market. And eventually they'll have to speak English through translation apps or whatever. Right? This guy has an Instagram channel, Instagram page, whatever. You can message him. He replies in English. Yeah, and he sells to Europe and all this kind of stuff. So language should not be a barrier in this day and age.
On wheels, right? This is about 2K, right? Ascend, the local brand Ascend, or even Wheel Angel for that matter, right? Isn't that part of consideration?
I mean, of course, I looked at those. I looked at everything. Like you could ask me, I could tell you everything. I could literally name probably almost all the wheel brands, and I can also name why I didn't go for those. The reason I didn't go for Ascent, they weren't available when I bought these.
They weren't available. What do you mean?
As in the Polaris 69 Lamau was not available. Hadn't launched in the market, and 69mm wheels. Wow, damn deep, man.
Get the
42s, the Polaris 42s, too shallow. See, they're stuck in a bit of a no man's land. These are 55, so they are literally in between. What else? You were saying Wheel Angel, right? Okay, another thing that I wanted to look at was specs. So I wanted as light as possible for the depth lah. And these were 8 lor. 1.3 kg for 55 mm deeps, I think is very hard to beat. There are a few wheels that are lighter and of about the same depth, but they either cost way more or they seem a bit sus, and I might lose a few body parts if I ride those wheels.
Last question for the day. Do you find yourself faster or slower than people with ceramic bearings?
I could talk for hours. So I think what most people don't understand about bearings is that they come as a complete system, right? You all have seen bearings, right? They're like these metal disc type looking things, right? That's just the outside of that's what we call the race of the bearing. What's actually moving the bearing is the balls, the actual bearing balls that are inside, right? And when you have ceramic bearings, right, every ceramic bearing that is put on a bike is a hybrid ceramic bearing. You still have a stainless steel race because there are such things as pure ceramic bearings, but the durability is not good enough for a bike. You literally run over a rough road or pothole, right? The ceramic race will crack because it's very brittle. So all ceramic bearings are hybrid bearings. And when you have a race and a ball, which is of different hardness, one is going to wear out the other faster. And then once you wear it out, right, the efficiency of that bearing is out the window. So why would you want that? Yeah. And honestly, right, when people do the things like they take the OSPW and they know it spins forever. Here's the thing. Your major source of friction on the bike is not here. It's here. Right? Your drivetrain loss is all around here. You know, the bearings are like a minuscule percentage. You can optimize. Yes, ceramic bearings are faster when they're new. It's true. They're more efficient when they're new. But first, the first thing is, like I said, when they're not new, right, they age like shit. And then when you put them into the whole system, they occupy like a tiny, tiny fraction of the overall resistance. So you can optimize that. You gain like 0.002%. So what's the point?
Yeah.
And then you're paying more to replace them frequently. And then you have to pack them with the ceramic grease or whatever. Wow, ceramic speed, right? You're damn good, man. Teach me how to open a business. I think they must be making a killing.
With all the greases that they sell.
Yeah.
The whole package.
Correct. And
just like Apple, right?
I guess, full system. UFO clean is very good though. For if you are planning to do immersion wax, fastest way to prep them is using UFO clean. Just dip the whole thing in UFO clean, leave it for 20 minutes, come out, it's ready. Yeah. Previously, you had to use heavy chemicals to strip the factory grease. I think I took off 20 years of my life doing that for 2 chains.
How do you do it?
You have to pour the heavy chemicals into a bath with the chain, leave it overnight, pull it out, and redo that like 3 times.
Overnight.
And it smells like shit. It's the petrochemical smell. And when you smell it, right, you know that you're going to get cancer in the future. So, yeah. So UFO Clean, yes, very good product. Everything else that Ceramic Speed sells, UFO Drip is not bad either, but it's a halfway house. You might as well just go all the way. Everything else they sell, there is one thing that Ceramic Speed makes that is actually quite good also, that Factor uses. It's the headset bearings. The SLT headset bearings, which are not ceramic. They're steel. They're actually steel bearings. Unfortunately, the bike shop that built this for me threw away those bearings and put in new bearings. But yeah, that means I don't have a single ceramic bearing on this bike.
Yeah. So
And
you wouldn't recommend anyone to get ceramic bearings?
If you have too much money, right, you can lah. But why would you do that? Please donate to victims suffering in Turkey or donate to the Me Foundation lah. I have a great need for money.
Or
donate to the Him Foundation. Go and subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
And pay him $3, like one coffee every month. I realized I did this the last time also, but I promise I'm not being paid by him or anything. But in fact, I pay him for early access to videos, and I'm questioning all my life choices every time I see a new video pop up. But yes, please support him. It's not that expensive.
Thank you. I think
Don't buy ceramic bearings. Seriously.
I think you said that the last time as well. So thanks for the shout out. As we wrap, we are already at the 1 hour mark. We've still got a bit more work to do. Last words? Famous last words, maybe?
Please don't make me look like extraterrestrial for this video.
I
would
try.
really appreciate it.
And what do you mean by extraterrestrial?
The
Do I
previous-
make everyone else look like an extraterrestrial?
No, remember the last video? I was like, again, right? I cannot shut up, lah. I talk so much, right? Then you cut out a lot of things, and I was doing, and like my voice was chopping. So yes, please don't make me sound like extraterrestrial. For everyone else, please please ride whatever you want. Don't listen to the haters. Because ultimately, for me at least, I can ride alone and I'll feel happy because you derive the joy from cycling itself. I know a lot of people like to ride in groups and everything. It's fun, I agree. But don't let anyone take that away from you. It's always about you and your bike, and you have to enjoy it. And that comes from...
This is like a father speaking to a son, man. Come on, this is a bike.
Yeah, I know. But there are people, oh, you buy this, you buy that. China, you're not scared of dying. Or like...
Do you get those kind of comments? Like people telling you?
No, not really. But or people, why you buy Factor? Why you don't buy Specialized? Or why you never buy Dogma F?
Then when you buy Specialized, people ask you why don't buy other
Yeah,
bikes.
then why you never buy Dogma F? Then you buy Dogma F, then you're like, why you never give me the money?
Just now, someone just came in for a bike fit and session, right? There was this white Dogma F, so a lady was riding us. Looks really nice. Then I was asking Shane because another customer has another white Dogma F there. Apparently, it's a parallel imported. Do you know how much a Dogma F cost?
As in the white Dogma F was parallel imported.
The one that's sitting there. And then someone else came with a Dogma F.
Isn't the Dogma F that's sitting there our good friends? It's not yours, okay.
The F12, the one next to the F, the F12.
How much a Dogma F costs? I know, too much dollars. That's the answer.
You know, I was just looking at this. Wow, it's really nice in the white one. And then I was like, I asked Shane, how much are these bikes? Like, I'm sorry, lost touch already of how much all these kind of bikes cost.
But you're selling your Vans, right?
I am.
You want to buy Dogma, right? Come, bro, just tell the truth.
I want to buy a lot of things. So if I can sell that bike, then I'll just think, what can I do with the money and recycle it. But anyway, when I found out that the Dogma F, I know it's expensive. I didn't expect it to be that expensive.
It's like 11K, right?
Yeah.
11K for a frame.
For a freaking frame, man.
That's made in China.
Yeah.
See, everything's made in China. You cannot run away, bro.
Yeah, but
Winnie the Pooh has eyes on everyone.
But think about it. Why is a bike 11,000?
Why is a Ferrari 300,000? Oh, so it's 300,000 not in Singapore. Why is a Ferrari $2 million?
True, but I guess for a Ferrari, apparently, if you're into cars, I think like you have to be like a Ferrari customer to be able to buy the new Ferrari or something.
You can
like
parallel import. It's the same. You can parallel import from some dude. He will just sell it to you. It doesn't matter. But if you like the Dogma, and if it makes you happy, it makes you ride more. That's what matters. This hasn't made me ride more because I was still a slave to my previous organization. But I'm looking forward to putting more miles into this bike.
Let's wrap up about the frame.
The frame,
I was actually looking at the Ostro also.
Actually, I don't really know what else to say. I know this is a cliche.
Stiff. It's stiff.
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna use all the magazine keywords, right? Stiff, compliant, aero. This bike is better in most things than my previous bike, and therefore I'm happy. Yes, that's all. It allows me to not get dropped as quickly.
What do you think of the new Lab 71?
The SuperSix Evo is sexy, but I won't buy it.
Why?
Because I have this.
If it's cheap?
$2.
But I actually thought it was quite cheap for the frame.
Oh, it's not very expensive. Okay, yes, relative to our good friends, dollar sign Eshelized, like a certain bike brand that starts with S and ends with Eshelized, is quite cheap. Yeah, it's like what 5K something for the high mode.
Yeah.
Not bad. And
I think it's the Lab 71, right? Not the high mode.
Oh yeah, correct. The Lab 71 is 5K. The high mode is 4 something.
I was expecting it to be 10,000, but I was like, 5,000. Okay.
Yeah, and it looks good. They claim that it's 12 watts faster.
And it's light.
Yeah, I saw them build it up to about 7, to close to 7 or so.
Yeah.
It's a great looking bike, but my highest bid is $2.
We'll see whether that day comes up.
No, it will not. You will see some of my friends here with new bikes. You will see me ride this until I'm like a old man. Or maybe it will just be hung up on the wall or something. I don't know. Like it is now. See? I've never seen it hung up on the wall before. So it allows me to touch this easily.
Oh my God.
And prove to you that I won't die. if I did this with like a normal loop bike, right?
We won't know until tomorrow.
No, I will already be in the ambulance outside already.
Maybe it takes time, right?
Oh yeah. I'll let you know. I'll let you know tomorrow about how I do.
If I don't hear from you, then I know what happened.
No, if you don't hear from me, it's because I went to the toilet and took a shit. Just went out my life lah. Wax your chains, everybody.
All right. Ben, thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Thank you. I hope to never see you again because that means that I will have bought you bike.
We'll probably see you in a year's time or something, and then you have a different story about your bike.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I would like to prove you wrong. I'll hold you to that.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, and round of applause for Ben, everybody.
Got drunk off your love, and I lost myself again. You hit just like a drug. This time